Howdy everybody. Okay, so we're here with Gary Roberson in the Loran Whitelock Garden at the beginning of the Cycad walk, and this is hands down one of my absolute favorite gardens at the Huntington. It's one of the newer gardens at the Huntington, and it's really cool because, as I said before, we are a collection-based garden, and this is a collector's garden within a collection-based garden, which is pretty mind-blowing. So Gary, why don't you give us just a short tour through your garden and tell us a little bit about it.
Welcome. So here we are actually in the jungle, which interfaces with the Whitelock Cycad garden, and as we walk along you'll see cycads start appearing, and when we get to a certain point you'll see a whole bunch of them.
So Gary, how long did it take you guys to do the big move from, was it Eagle Rock?
From Eagle Rock.
Eagle Rock to San Marino with all of these cycads?
It took us 6 months.
That's it?
That's it.
That's crazy.
It was supposed to take 2 years.
Wow.
2 seasons, but it was all squeezed into 6 months.
Oh, and I hope you guys one day get to see his wonderful talk on just the entire move of this garden, because it's just phenomenal. Very few powers, you didn't have that big a crew.
No, we had like 5 people, sorted machineries that we used, and a lot of hand digging to bring basically 640 in the ground cycads here to the Huntington. Total number of plants removed from Loran's 2-acre garden was over 3,000.
Wow.
All the companion plants and aloes, agaves, begonias.
Do you guys know the percentage of like what survived? Pretty much most of it. Huh?
Most of it survived. We probably had a 10% or a little.
Oh, that's not
higher,
bad.
Not too much higher.
Wow.
Survival rate, yeah. So we were right there with the textbook.
That's amazing.
Survival guides.
Okay, great.
And in working in this process, we changed the paths here, made them more level and more ADA compliant.
Mm-hmm. And is that means it has to be 4 feet wide or 6 feet wide?
These are actually 5
feet wide
and a 1 in 20 grade.
Okay.
So
it's not too steep in case we have wheelchairs. Okay.
And people with walkers.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah. The other thing is that we had to eliminate some paths to create this and bring in yards and yards and yards of soil.
Very cool. I know, it looks like it's always been here.
The old path went right through there.
Wow. And look at that, looks like it's been grown in for years and years and years.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So you'll start to see the cycads appearing. And as you enter the Whitelock Garden you're coming from the east, going west, and now you see the diunes from Mexico.
Ooh. So they're kind of geographically
they are geographically placed, but they're also placed in populations.
Oh.
The cycads don't flower, they're male and female.
Mm-hmm.
So we have, say like all of the Californoid group is all together. That way we have male and female plants.
Oh, awesome.
All within that population.
And do we want cross-pollination to...
We don't want cross-pollination, and it won't happen. Well, here it will happen because we have the little beetles that cause the pollination.
Okay.
So what we'll do is control the process of pollinating so we can get true seed.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And I know some of the seed comes to plant sales because I get the benefit of that. And some of it we grow on for the collection, but do you do anything else with the seed? Exchange it with different institutions or?
Well, that's a program that's in development.
Awesome.
It's been 5 years since we moved all these plants, and now they've returned to more normal health with normal leaf flushes, the size of the leaf, the cones. During the first couple of years of the move, there was a lot of stress flushing which would make them half size or very weird growth.
Right.
And now you can see we're returning to a more normal look for them.
Okay, so then we'll start getting normal seed with healthy embryos.
But we're banking pollen now.
Awesome.
And so we can pollinate.
And is that it? Do they also bank pollen utilizing that cryopreservation process, or?
Currently, I think the pollen is in the -80 freezer.
Okay.
And it's good for about 5 years.
Oh wow, that's a long time.
In the freezer.
Oh cool.
And then we share that with other botanical gardens, other collectors, research people. Some of these seeds that have been open pollinated here that we're not growing on, they've been going to Raquel's research.
Oh good.
People in Chicago and the Midwest for this study of cryopreservation of the embryos.
Right, because I know they have problems sometimes with freezing and water molecules and all that. They just explode.
Yeah, so another whole.
Yeah, another whole arm of conservation here at the Huntington. Alrighty, so we're walking through Mexico right now, right?
Yes, and basically Oaxaca, Mexico.
Oaxaca, oh, very specific.
So, and this garden is a collector's garden, so we've added in many of the Whitelock companion plants from his garden in Eagle Rock.
Right.
And then we've been adding my favorites and staff favorites.
Right, yeah, that's why this is everybody's favorite garden, because they're like, oh, here's a plant, Gary.
So, and the whole thing has been a team project. There's been the move team, you know, the people that transported,
right,
the people, the Huntington planting crew that was here, the contractors that came and did the cement work and the retaining walls, and then the staff here. So it's been a whole team effort.
That's amazing.
And not really credited to one person, but I oversaw all this and tried to keep all the pieces together.
Well, you're the father of the garden. You're the one taking care of everything.
So you'll notice the railroad ties.
Yeah, these are beautiful.
Loran's garden was filled with railroad ties.
And these are the faux bois, right?
These are the faux bois railroad ties.
Look how cool that is, guys. Made out of cement forms and just taking pieces of block wood and making an impression.
So it was a fun project.
Did you get to help with that?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Through the whole process through here.
Oh,
yeah.
That's cool.
So what we did, as a tribute to Loran, he liked to drink scotch.
Oh, awesome.
And we put a scotch bottle in one of these posts.
Oh, you got to guess which one, huh?
You got to guess which one.
Oh.
And
that
it's
is
full.
so awesome. And it's full? Oh. So hundreds of years from now, when they're having to repair this, somebody's going to have a lucky day. Scotch might not even exist then with climate change. You know what I mean?
It's kind of a time capsule thing.
It's a time capsule. That's so cool.
And some of the Loran's friends say that Loran comes here every afternoon and has a glass.
Has a glass. That's so awesome. Well, I would too. This is a beautiful garden.
So you can see some California natives and Mexican native plants mixed in.
Got Asclepias subulata, the desert milkweed from Arizona, I believe, right?
Right.
And then Ceanothus maritimus. It's a pretty California native. From what I've read and been told by one of our curators, the maritimus varieties are actually the ones that, the maritimus species are actually the ones that do best here in our inland environment. All right, cool.
And Alicia's cuttings.
Oh yeah,
Later.
my big beautiful Roselia equisetiformis, hummingbird magnet. I'm surprised there's not one there right now. Usually when I'm filming something or taking a customer by a plant, I'm like, there you go. You know, I don't even have to read the label. It's its own advertisement.
Part of the whole aspect of this garden is for the visitors to get close to the plants to touch them. And a lot of the plants integrated are when you touch them, smell. Have a real good fragrance.
And what does that one smell like to you for our non-able to smell?
This one smells like you're going to cook a turkey.
Oh,
Sage.
yummy.
So it's Salvia moonzii.
Salvia moonzii. Ooh, it's ready to be propagated there too. So I'll be back.
So as you can see up here, the tall cycads, they're more palm-like.
Oh yeah.
Those are the tallest cycads from Mexico.
Oh.
And they'll eventually grow to 50 feet.
What? Oh my goodness.
It's
Also, this garden is going to look vastly different.
vastly different in another 20 years.
Wow.
Or 50 years. Dioun spinulosum.
Dioun spinulosum. Have you already seen one in habitat, or have you seen them that big?
I personally haven't seen them in habitat, but Brian Dorsey, the
Yeah.
Cycad research guy, he has been there and taken pictures. That's how I can see it.
Wow.
And they would push right through the tree canopy to
Oh
get
my
to the
goodness.
sun.
That's wild. That's so cool. Well, they've been around a long time, so they're ready to adapt, right?
Oh yeah, they outlived the dinosaurs.
Yeah. They're going to find a way to photosynthesize in those dark canopies.
So now we're moving into a kind of a shady spot, part of the garden. Loran's garden used to be north facing in Eagle Rock. And he actually, in 2010, 2011, came here and picked the spots where he wanted certain plants to go. And he was going to help design the garden and everything, but he had cancer and never got around to making the final plans. So we went with his rough sketches and Jim Folsom, the botanical director's ideas, and his conferences with Loran.
But I'm sure you did a lot of research on your own about the plant material as well, huh?
Research, yeah, I read Loran's book.
Mm-hmm.
I've read other books. You can go online. I've done several trips to Habitat.
Right. Yeah, you do your conference every year.
Every 3 years
Every
we go
3
to
years.
Thailand for a conference on it's a horticulture conference for raising and growing cycads.
Oh, and those pictures and videos you bring back are amazing. It's like,
So when you see them in Habitat, it gives you a whole new appreciation
right.
for what's in your collection.
Yeah, and how they grow together. That's what I found so interesting, just going into different habitats, actually seeing what plants grow under what plants and what plants are always together and what type of substrate. You know, that's so useful when building a garden.
Yes, it is. Understanding where to put the plants.
Right.
So if you look up, we brought some staghorns, actually from Loran. He was a big collector of staghorn ferns as well as cycads and everything else. And we brought 55 of those from his garden.
Wow.
And now they're being integrated into this garden where there's shade.
Just so beautiful. Look at how happy they are.
They love it.
They love it. This is like their optimal habitat right here. That's so cool. And how do you keep these watered, Gary?
This garden is was created new, so we were able to put in Netafim drip.
Oh, great.
And we also have the ability to run pop-up sprayers with the MP rotor.
Oh, if you need more.
If we need more water.
Oh, okay.
And the current water setting for the summer here is every 14 days.
Every 14 days. Okay.
And
that seems to give them a good enough soak
giving enough soak. And some of the smaller plants, that's where the pop-ups come in into play.
And active growing season for most of the cycads is the
spring. Some of them do active growth in the fall.
Okay.
And whenever they're in active new growth and flushing, we add extra water.
Okay.
But the main thing is everything has to drain away from them. They grow in real crummy limestone outcroppings, and
so they like it to be well drained. Did you add elements into the soil, or have the company add elements into the soil to make it like way more well-drained soil, or?
Here,
you just control it with irrigation?
We control it with irrigation. We're on a slope, a south-facing slope.
I mean, it looks like everything loves it.
The south-facing slope is actually better for the cycads than Loran's north-facing, and that's why the Dioun's particularly why he chose that area, this area.
Just because they're getting more sun?
They're getting more sun.
Nice.
And if you think back, you look back to 2010, this was all lawn.
Right. Yeah, that was crazy how Just just such a transformation. All of these stairways got put in, and
This is a good shot down this way.
yeah.
You want to go up to the rockery?
Sure, yeah, we can just walk up there. That has all the pockets of the really cute little accent plants.
So the whole premise for this walkway is a lot of color to grab your attention.
Okay.
This path starts over by the desert garden, runs through the palm, the jungle, above subtropical, and into the rose garden, and then on into the Japanese garden.
Awesome.
So this is a main thoroughfare that's wheelchair accessible.
And we're trying to put this type of path all around the Huntington, right? Like it's
Correct.
supposed
Wherever
to.
we can correct
Okay.
the old paths, we do, where it's possible.
Right.
Some of it doesn't can't do it. It
Right.
destroy too much of the garden.
Right.
But so this has a lot of color, a lot of succulents, everything.
Yeah, you can just see it from the camera shot here. Little pops of color throughout the beds there. It kind of leads your eye down the whole path.
And so it gives you that
Beautiful.
collector's feel.
Yeah, it really
Like
does.
like you see something exciting, something new, you bring it home and you plant it in your garden.
Right.
It's the same principle here.
Yeah.
And I'm very lucky that way because I don't have to abide by a lot of collection rules.
Right. Yeah, you get to collect cool things that you find at specialty nurseries, or yeah.
And if they don't do well and I don't like them, out they go.
Right.
In with something else.
I love that. Collector's garden within a collection. And it's just such a real garden, you know, like that's what you would do in your own
Space
Yeah.
around your house, or
especially if you were a collector. Wow. A lot of beautiful plants, Gary. The rockery.
the rockery. So there's several components to the Whitelock Garden. I think what you said before, it's the heart of the Cycad Walk, which is a 3.5 mile trip through the gardens that house all the collection at the Huntington. We created these rockeries for some of Loran's favorite plants are in here. Some of them are very rare, some of them are lost in habitat. These are the few of the only ones that remain. So they get prominent display. But we had to bring soil. We had these big coral trees were all moved in a couple of years before the cycads came.
Were they from on the property, or?
They were from on the
okay.
property by the library. They needed to be moved for a renovation project.
I see.
So they came here. They were in big boxes, sat
Wow.
on the old lawn, and then as time began, they started bringing the soil up to where the boxes were, took the sides off.
Oh, cool. And then
now
planted them.
they're at the right level for...
What's that cool tree right there? Is that a coral tree?
That's a coral tree too.
Oh, that's really pretty.
That one's not very much in cultivation.
Oh.
They're trying to... Can you see it?
Erythrina Christagalli cockspur coral tree.
It
Gala.
has very unusual flowers.
Yeah, that is really beautiful. Have to come and propagate that one.
Yeah.
See a couple little trunk sprouts there.
So we put the cycads here in 2015. We did work on this garden through 2016, 2017, making minor adjustments, getting everything ready. And in February of 2018, we closed this section, and we had found a source for the rocks. And we started with 5 original rocks of the same type from Loran's garden that we had to move out of the way to get the cycads, so we brought those along. And this is Palos Verdes limestone.
So cool. Yeah, Forrest told me the story about that he just saw it in a big pile at a quarry, and he was like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
I want to get that rock.
We had 5 of them to start with.
That's so cool.
So yeah, and so 220 tons later
Wow.
to create this rockery.
That's a big cost in rock.
We got a lower price because we bought so much of it.
Oh, that's
we
good.
bought everything that they had.
Wow.
So it was rarely 19 cents a pound. We got it for 15 cents a pound.
Oh, good. Well, every penny counts when you're buying that many pounds, right?
So the cost of the rock is about $70,000.
Wow.
In the overall project, it's one of the minor costs.
Yeah.
But it gives us
And it gives homes to all these plants. I
all
mean,
these plants.
they're so important.
All the little cracks and crevices are planted with winter growing bulbs, summer flowering bulbs. So you get, it's not really intended to be a duplication of habitat, but it looks like habitat.
Right. Yeah, how the
gives
plants
you-
are spaced out and stuff. That's super cool.
Gives you that feel. You can see a Dione spinulosum cone under the railing.
Oh, yeah.
That's the female seed pod, seed cone.
And is that new and going to produce seeds now?
It has the seeds already. Taylor pollinated it before he left.
Oh, wow.
So
Awesome.
we're waiting for it to start to deepest, and then we'll take those and
Very cool.
use those. And here's a South African. Encephaloardus. This one is actually a hybrid, but it's also a female.
Yeah, I see those big cones in there. Beautiful.
So it's just a collection of fun things.
This is just awesome.
And we still have another phase of this project to go, where we put in a wall fountain, which you'll see as we walk by. And the road we're on now, it's actually a large walking path, but it can accommodate a dump truck if we need to bring materials here, or should we need to work on the flagpole. They can get a crane back here.
Right.
But it's one of the extra wide garden walking paths.
Yeah, so you got to have some future thought when you're thinking about a project like this, what you might need, you know, 50 years down the road.
It's not big enough for a fire truck, but a standard dump truck will fit through here, and it will become DG,
Nice.
decomposed granite. Here's something from your collection.
Oh, yeah.
The little dwarf echiums.
Echiums, yeah. Oh, I can't believe that those are doing so well here. They didn't do good for me in pots. They just kind of petered out. Oh, good.
So here you can see, here's a true species female for Encephaloardus trispinosus.
Oh, look at how regal that cone is.
And they're
Very
from
pretty.
South Africa.
And so in this garden, because it's a collector's garden, you don't necessarily have to keep it thematic by its region. It's
No.
more like the cool plants that you'd want to
For here,
see every day in your garden.
it's the cool plants, exactly. We have here a big woody eye, Encephaloardus woody eye, which is the loneliest plant in the world
That's right.
because the females are extinct in habitat, and there's no
Aw.
way for this to reproduce by seed.
Poor thing.
And right in front of it is another South African Encephaloardus, Keenan eye, and it's also gone in habitat.
So we have some types of conservation going on just by the fact that we're well caring for these rare species that are no longer
No longer available in habitat.
in habitat.
And this one will become part of a gene pool share, where we'll
Okay.
give pups off of this plant, new little starts,
Mm-hmm.
to another institution that has a different region where they were from. We'll get back pups so they can build the
Oh, that's
diversity.
amazing. So another way that we are preserving and conserving plants here.
And here's a new flush coming on this Encephaloardus lanatus.
That's so cool.
This is only
So
about a
fuzzy.
week old.
It looks like it's a week old. It's so. Is that the one that we root? Oh no, that's not the one we rooted, huh?
No, the one that the woody eye,
Yeah.
it's up in the compound.
Oh, you're still leaving it for.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's too
Too small. Still.
mixed in winter growing and spring blooming draining pelargoniums.
Just some unique plant. And have you ever seen blue fescue look that good? I never have. So this is the most impressive.
And I think it's worth going into where the wall fountain will go here. This will become a grotto. There'll be small trees trained out over for some shade.
It'll be a real relaxation and reflection point.
But the dietes are in full bloom right now.
They look so pretty. You know, usually in landscape settings, you see them mass planted where they just look almost restricted. And here, spaced out like this, they just really show their beautiful forms, I think. I've always liked those
And
plants.
then there's your favorite, one of your favorite
Oh yeah,
plants.
the little plantago. This guy? Yeah, because they're so cool. They're just a herbaceous plant, but doesn't it look like a conifer?
It does look like
Or a little pine or something? I know, I love propagating that plant. And look at all those beautiful cuttings. I already came and took cuttings the other day.
See, when I'm not around, what
Yeah,
happens?
that's what happened. No, you were here. It's the day I was digging up all those plants.
And the popcorn,
Yeah, Melanie says it smells like burnt popcorn.
burnt popcorn, yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't have a good sense of smell, so
You just brush by it and it smells like burnt popcorn.
yeah, I use it as a selling point when I sell it,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
don't.
This is a nice view.
Yeah, it is.
With the
And we're looking
jacarandas.
south here.
Correct.
Ooh, very nice. Are there ever days that you can see the ocean, or is there a hill? Yeah, there's a hill
in the
range
way.
there. Yeah.
I think maybe from the top of the house,
Maybe.
the balconies. And certainly back when they lived here in the early teens.
Right,
and
before.
20s.
Before like astute pollution and like all the buildings built. Oh, you can just see so many wonderful little treasures buried inside the rock crevices. I love that. All the little Haworthia, maybe, right?
Yeah, that one's.
Little aloes. Oh, cute
There's
little
little
hybrids.
aloes, Dudleyas,
Dudleyas. Oh wow, this is just beautiful.
some sempervirums,
Oh.
crassulas, euphorbias.
Yeah,
Little-
this is
little
awesome,
chrysanthemum.
man. You've got it all here. This is just so beautiful. And look how happy the plants are in this just well-drained situation like this.
The soils here were amended with, they left all the rock in the soil,
Mm-hmm.
and then they added forest compost,
Good, so it has
When
some
they originally-
humus.
built the berms.
Nice.
We did some gravel mulching.
Do you guys still do the sea kelp extract?
I do the seed kelp extract.
Nice.
In fact, we're getting ready to gear up to fertilize in the next couple of weeks.
Oh,
we'll
that's
give them a
wonderful.
liquid drench.
So you just use like a boom sprayer or like a...
The big tank
The
sprayer
big tank with a regular
coarse
one.
nozzle and
Okay.
drench the root zone.
That's awesome.
And it presents a little challenge here because there's a few plants in here that don't want any fertilizer. The
Oh,
way their
no.
root systems are, the leucodendrons,
Yeah, they're
so-
sensitive.
they can absorb so much so quickly that heavy fertilizer will kill them.
Really?
So we have to be careful
So even the sea kelp stuff, or you're mixing it with other...
mixing
oh,
it with
okay.
other organic mycorrhizae,
Mm-hmm.
hydroponic foods
Okay.
with different nitrogen and.
I just tried using humic acid the other day, so I want to see how that works out, I think. I'll let you know.
So, if you want to walk up,
Sure.
follow this path here, and I'll show you a comb that we pollinated. This is Encephalornis latifrons. These are very rare, very desirable.
Look at that cone. It's all It looks different, huh? Like it has little raised bumps all over it.
Yeah, each of the Cycad group cones they're all a little bit different, and each cone scale carries 2 seeds.
Wow.
And back in April,
You're gonna get a lot of seeds.
James from irrigation and Sean Laymeyer from the offices, botanical offices, we came and pollinated this.
Awesome.
So,
All right, Gary.
Okay.
Well, I think that's it for us today because I got to go back and deliver some roses to a customer.
oh, back to work.
Back to work. So my break's over. I'll
All
only get
right,
30 minutes to do this.
Good luck, class.
Thanks, Gary, and thanks for the wonderful tour.